Hello guys, you guys read the title, so I guess you know. Before I start, I guess thank you to the 11 people who subscribed. I mean, thank you. Thank you to the people who watched my Bell What If. I'm planning on making an Asta What If too, by the way. Anyway, let's get back into this. Where we last left off, they fought the hero killer and stuff. Man, I said I'm not big on reviews. Anyway, let's get this started. In this one, I'll be covering the All Might battle with the mall scene, and the mall scene can be very different. Anyway, let's get it started. Mr. Azal walks in as he explains that Azal walks in as he explains that the students will be doing their midterms, and whoever to decide they're just be doing their midterms, and there's talking about a training camp. Mr. Aizawa says this, people ask questions. Mr. Aizawa walks out the room as normal. Some students start to get excited because they can't wait for a summer camp, but they're not that excited for midterms. Especially some students like Kaminari and Mina, as they are one of the little students. Midori tells them not to worry, that they could... Oh, this is already part of that. And Midori tells them not to worry, that they can just pass. As Kaminari, double that Kaminari pokes Midori in his eyes, saying that he doesn't have to worry about anything. He's smart and has a good quirk. Momo brings up the idea that she could help them, as other people such as Jiro and Ochiko, start to ask Momo for help too. They go to lunch where Monoma does the thing he did. I think I talked about this in the last part. Monoma does his crazy speech. Kendo knocks him out. Kenzo tells them that they will be that they're gonna be fighting villains. Now I wonder this. Probably not. Kendo says that they're going to be fighting villains. They get back and relay that information, that they will be fighting villains. Kaminari and Mina get excited, but now all they have to worry about is their written exam. Just as Bakugo says, hey, Bakugo's about to leave, as he says, hey, Midoriya, I see how you're using your new quirk now, and I just want to tell you it's seriously pissing me off. Your new transformations, how did that even happen? Wait a minute. I don't remember. Damn it. I don't remember if I made Bakugo win this. I think I did make Bakugo win the sports festival. Bakugo looks at Todoroki and says, you too, just try and fight with your full power. As he walks out, Mr. Aizawa then retorts, he's getting worse, as he starts to write something down on his paper. For the weekend, or the next week, the students study. The Bakugo tutors Kirishima, Momo tutors the 5 students, Invisible Girl, which I can't believe I don't know her name. Invisible Girl, Ochiko, Jiro, Mina, and Kaminari. Midoriya uses Brainstorm to catch up and review all of the subjects that they've went over, easily mastering it and writing notes on it so that way he could study before the test. 3 days go by as the students have been doing written tests non-stop. Everybody passes their written test, mostly thanks to Momo, since she did help 5 students pass, which is a quarter of the class. The next day, the students are outside in their hero costumes. I totally forgot what Midoriya's hero costume looked like. But anyway, the students are out. Did I even give them? Yeah, I did. The students are outside in their hero costumes. Mina and Kaminari are over here excited because they're gonna fight some robots. As Principal Nezu, comes alongside the other teachers. Principal Nezu tells them that they're not fighting robots. Well, they would have, but thanks to what's happened through the years, they decided to change that process. Now they'll be fighting teachers in teams. Now, skip like 30 seconds if you don't want to hear me rambling. I'm pretty sure the teams were Mineta Zero versus Midnight, Kirishima Sato versus Cementos, Jiro and Kota versus President Mike, Tokoyami and Asui versus Ectoplasm, Zero and Mineta versus Midnight, Shoji and Invisible Girl versus Snipe, Mina and Kaminari versus Principal Nezu, Ayama and Oraka versus, what's his name? Ayama and versus 13, Ida and Ochiko versus Power Loader, and Todoroki and what's her name? Todoroki and Momo versus Mr. Aizawa. Then with Midoriya and Bakugo versus All Might, they get a little shocked here. All Might, the students get inside their teams to either talk or come up with a solution. But Bakugo just walks away. The matches go the same, since I don't really see a reason why they wouldn't go the same. But the matches go the same. Now it's Midoriya versus Bakugo's match. Midoriya tells Bakugo that they need to get away. They don't have a chance of beating All Might. Bakugo doesn't want to hear it. Bakugo says something stupid, like he's gonna play around with All Might and then knock him unconscious. Like, did he hear himself? Anyway, that's what Bakugo says, stupidly. Midoriya tries to tell him that it's impossible to beat him in a fight. Bakugo slaps Midoriya with his gauntlet, saying he doesn't want to hear another word. As All Might cocks his fist back, they start screaming, just as All Might says the Texas Smash and punches the air. As they start screaming as they see a giant gust of wind attack coming towards them, and they get blown away, destroying the city. Midoriya Midoriya and Bakugo both start coughing to see All Might's in front of them. Bakugo says, "This is great, you came to us." He starts to fly, ready to explode All Might, but All Might grabs his face and puts him to the ground. All Might grabs his, All Might grabs his hand, no. It was All Might grabs his face. Bakugo starts letting off a chain of explosions. All Might a bit surprised. All Might eventually lets go of Bakugo and throws him into a building. He changes his gaze to Midoriya. Midoriya activates the omnitrix, turning into Spider Monkey. He shoots some webs at All Might, which All Might just shakes off. All Might then goes to punch Midoriya, with the Midoriya switching quickly to Goop. All Might starts to punch Midoriya, but nothing's happening. All Might says, "Ah, I figured it out." All Might uses one for all and punches Midoriya, and the goop splatters everywhere. Bakugo gets up. No, yes, the goop splatters everywhere. Excuse me. This as Bakugo is going towards All Might. All Might punches the air, sending a blast. This says they realize that they can't beat All Might. Midoriya turns into Swamp Fire as he throws a fireball at All Might, telling Bakugo that they need to run. All Might Bak he tells Bakugo that they need to run. And Bakugo have a small argument, debating on whether they should run or not, because it's obvious they can't beat him. Bakugo still thinks that they can. But while talking, Bakugo asks, "Where's All Might?" All Might asks, All Might says, "I have a present for the one who wants to run," as he brings the side of that thing he pulled out and stomps it on Midoriya. As Bakugo gets ready to attack, but All Might punches Bakugo in the stomach so hard, making him vomit. All Might then walks up to Bakugo. All Might says, "You're mad at young Midoriya, so an improvement, young Bakugo, but you have to realize your ranks in the beginning of the year. Although Midoriya wasn't that bad, it was kind of clearly obvious you were better than him. It's easier for a level 1 to level up more than a level 100. Bakugo says, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that right there if you thought it was terrible. Anyway, Bakugo says, "I'd rather lose than work with him." As All Might says, "It was your choice, hero. Your choice, hero." Midoriya as Wildvine moves through the ground. Because if you watched the first, I think it was the second episode actually. If you watched the second episode of Ben 10, when Ben turned into Alien Force, when Ben turned into Swamp Fire, remember when Kevin threw that cargo thing on him, and he came up, and then Ben came up from the ground behind Kevin. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, he comes out of the ground. Midoriya then hits the omnitrix, turning into Diamond Head. Midoriya punches All Might, sending him flying. As he picks up Bakugo, and starts to run. Later on, transforming into Big Chill to fly. No. He punches All Might as he gets sent flying. He turns into Big Chill as he picks up Bakugo and starts to fly into the alleyway. All Might doesn't chase after them because of his injury, which Midoriya doesn't know about. Bakugo tells Midoriya to put him down. Midoriya doesn't, so Bakugo chops him in the back with an elbow. Midoriya de-transforms to save power, since it does work on an energy function. Midoriya says, "Are you still on this? Come on, we can't win," as Bakugo does an explosion next to Midoriya's head, pretty much almost killing him. Bakugo says, "Shut up, you damn nerd. I hate to admit it, but you're right. So I'll work with you." Midoriya says, "Thank you. But what are we?" As Bakugo says, "I said shut up. I have a plan. But I'm gonna need your smart alien to use it." Time goes by. All Might's running through the streets like a pro track star as he wonders where they went off to. Bakugo comes up behind. I kept this part the same a little. Bakugo comes up behind All Might as he says, "You're going the wrong way." Just as Midoriya comes up behind All Might, Bako flies up even higher than he did in canon. Midoriya then pulls the trigger, on Bako's gauntlet as an explosion twice as big as the normal explosion happens, which really dazes All Might, which leaves Midoriya's shoulder, dislocated. Bakugo tells Midoriya to run, to come on. Midoriya says, okay, he transforms into Spider Monkey and starts swinging. Midoriya just wondering, Bakugo really uses that? Now, if you're wondering why Midoriya's shoulder was dislocated this time, and why Bakugo had to go up higher, why it was twice as strong, it's because, if you don't know this, swamp fire can produce methane, and methane is highly flammable. And remember, Bakugo's gauntlets store his sweat and create a giant explosion. So what they did is Midoriya turned, hold up a minute. Never mind. What they did is Midoriya turned into swamp fire. He started producing a lot of methane, which went inside the gauntlets, and mixed with Bakugo's nitroglycerin sweat, it caused the even bigger explosion. You get it? That's why it was twice as big. They're just swinging as they come up with the plan, but they're like, it's gonna be my turn to blast them to H-word with the gauntlet. As they say that, All Might appears in front of them, saying, then what will you do? All Might breaks Bakugo's gauntlet and then breaks Midoriya's gauntlet. He needs Bakugo into the building, as Midoriya wants to get away, but All Might grabs Midoriya's tail, just as Bakugo comes, saying, hey, that's my line. All Might uses Midoriya as a baseball bat and just swings him around. As he's standing on Bakugo while holding Midoriya, he throws Midoriya into the ground. I'm gonna have to check something, because I'm gonna have to do this in the next part. Besides that, but he throws Midoriya into the ground. As he steps on Bakugo, bringing him down. Midoriya de-transforms. His omnitrix goes into power-saving mode as he falls over. All Might tells Bakugo that, that he managed to work together with Midoriya. It's a small start, but it's too late for that. Just as Bakugo says, shut up, All Might, as he lets off a giant explosion. Sending All Might off of him. Bakugo runs to, Midoriya, helping him up. Midoriya says, you just did a giant explosion. What was that about? Bakugo says he designed those gauntlets. Bakugo says, I have one last idea. You get ready to fly. You should be used to it. Midoriya says, fly? And as Bakugo gets Midoriya's collar and says, die! And Midoriya's like, die, as he throws Midoriya I remember Midoriya's hero costume now. He throws Midoriya being backed up with the explosion. As Midoriya is flying through the air, Midoriya says, hey, I'm gonna reach the exit, as you hear a New Hampshire smash as All Might flies into Midoriya's back. Midoriya then bounces off the bus, as he feels that his back is hurt as he starts to walk away, like Tobey Maguire in the second Spider-Man movie. My back, My back! Bakugo goes up in front of All Might, talking about how he needs to surpass his limits, like how if he was in Black Clover. But eventually All Might overpowers Bakugo and slams him on the ground. Midoriya's about to leave, but Midoriya knows he can't leave Bakugo there, knowing that based on the amount of charge time that the omnitrix must have had, he should be good enough to have to do one transformation. Midoriya transforms into Chroma Stone. He rushes up at All Might, punching him, being backed up with an energy blast. He picks up Bakugo as he starts to run out the gate. All Might wants to follow them, but his injury. They run out the gate as Midoriya de-transforms. Team Bakugo and Midoriya have just won. They have escaped. I mean, oh yeah, that whole thing with Uraka and Ayama still happened. People are excited for some reason. They get to go to training camp. Now I guess now Midoriya's back was still hurt, and All Might couldn't see them due to Midoriya still being awake and Midoriya not knowing about All Might's, form. So I guess All Might really just sustained the form to check on them. That's all. Or I'll say one day, or I'll do this. Thanks to remember the Alien Force Omnitrix, you can actually feel some of the stuff your aliens take. For example, there's one episode in season 2, I think it's season 2, episode 3 or 4, where Ben's parents find out about the Omnitrix, even though in the original version they found out at the last episode. Was that at least? And let's talk about Ben's dad. I mean, this dude lost all of his hair. Anyway, like that episode, they were fighting a alien hybrid. The hybrid picked up a lamppost and Ben was Swamp Fire. The hybrid picked up a lamppost and hit it at Ben. Ben de-transformed and had a black eye. So he got a black eye while he was Swamp Fire and kept it. So I'm going to say Midoriya's injuries were still bad. So I'm going to say thanks to Recover Ghost quirk, he had to sleep because, again, it makes you sleep the more you get healed. So I guess All Might could then check on them that way. The mall part is quick. I guess I should say the mall part is going to be quick. Well, really just the same thing with Uraka and Midoriya. Shigaraki sees Midoriya and still captures him. I don't remember if I did that. Shigaraki asks the same questions he asks. Basically what he did is, remember, Shigaraki was holding the hand that Shigaraki was holding one of Midoriya's hands while he was holding his throat, so Midoriya could use his Omnitrix. Shigaraki still did the same threat, so after they were done talking, Midoriya really couldn't follow Shigaraki still. That's the end of season 2, I guess. I hope you enjoyed. Next part, I try not to do 5. I try not to do over 5 what ifs at a time, because it took me a long time to do the Shinro part 2, but I still did it. Hope you enjoyed. Bye. If you enjoyed, subscribe if you want. So bye.